Hello guys and welcome. My name is Offensa Rampa and welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about the laws of philosophy of life in general, and I want to talk about the six major fears of life. I feel like the six major fears of life, they are essential to everyone and they are also a part of our lives in a huge way. So there's many fears, but the major fears in life, there are six when they're full. The six major fears. And I want to jump into that and we discuss how you can grow over these fears and how to know these fears and avoid them. Cause the moment you know these type of fears is the moment you realize, listen, if you want to have a good life, it's good to know what to do. And it's also good to know what not to do. Knowing what not to do also helps you live a better, fulfilled life and a life with peace of mind. So, guys, let's hurry up and jump into these fears because this is, I feel like, what everyone should know. I mean, people in life, they have many fears, and once they conquer these six major fears, I feel like they can live a fulfilled major life that will bring happiness to their lives. Napoleon book in Think and Grow Rich discussed these six major fears. And he said it's essential and absolutely important to know this type of fears and to overcome this type of fears. Because when you talk about fear in general, fear is a spirit, And I myself have a testimony to say, "Okay, I've overcome this type of fears and I've lived a free, fulfilled life because these fears are in every one of us. And they don't teach us in schools or in colleges this type of fears. But I feel like it's absolutely essential you know them. It will change your life around. Just listen to these basic fears. Number one is the fear of death. The fear of death is absolutely essential. I mean, everyone is afraid of dying. We need not be afraid of dying. Death is something that will be there. And I feel like the fear of death is dedicated mainly to religious studies. Most religious studies, they teach that after we die, we'll go to a place called hell or heaven. More specifically, hell if you're doing bad here on earth. And when people picture that age of that they will die after death and they will go to the burning fire for eternity, that brings about fear and they become fearful of dying because of these tales of biblical stories that we're told. And I feel like this is not absolutely necessary. The fear of death, once you vanquish that fear and you overcome that fear and know that life is either an eternal sleep or an eternal sleep. That's it. That's it. The fear of death. Many fairy tales have been told what will happen after we die, and I feel like many people carry this fear even though they are far from dying. A person is still young and is still carrying this type of fear of death, and which is not necessary. Do not be afraid of dying. Yes, the biblical tales, they have a virtue and important part in it that we should live a better life here on earth and help your neighbor. That's very true, and that's what I will jump into. But the fear of death, do not be afraid of dying, okay? Do not be afraid of dying. Death is something that will always be there. You just do not think about death. If you have to have life insurance for your loved one, have life insurance. That's why people here on earth have created things like life insurance so that you can help your family when you pass on to the near future and help your children also. That's why there's life insurance. So the fear of death, don't think about it too much. Don't think about death. Just live your life to the fullest and have no thought of death because death can overtake anyone any minute. The second fear is the fear of poverty. Many people are rushing and choosing their lifestyles and the jobs that don't suit them because of this fear of poverty. Napoleon Hill also mentioned this in one of his books about the fear of poverty. People, when they finish school or when they finish college, they rush into the next available job that they will find. Even if they do not like that job, even if they do not understand what the job entails, but they rush into the next job they find so that they can earn a living and make money without even sitting down and thinking what type of job they would like to have, without even preparing of the type of job they would like to have because of this fear of poverty. A lot of people think about poverty, and that's why they manifest poverty in their lives, the fear of poverty. So you either have two emotions, the emotion of happiness, or you either have an emotion of angriness, of destructiveness. And while you think about poverty, Nothing good is manifesting into your life. You're not attracting beautiful things as long as you think about poverty, as long as you fear about poverty. Do not fear poverty. Slow down, think about what you want to do, plan those next steps, and do not fear poverty. Rather think about wealth, rather think about health, think about those life giving situations, and then you will be proper. The third fear is the fear of criticism. Many people are afraid of what people are going to say or do. Like, for example, you don't see people wearing old clothes that have gone out of season because of the fear of what people will do. People do not generally take the next step because of the fear of criticism. Many people will criticize you, especially family, especially your beloved ones, especially your parents, your friends, everyone you know might criticize you, and that might hurt for a while, especially in what you want to do. But if what you want to do does not make sense to the next person or the person you trust, expect criticism. Okay, expect criticism. Criticism is something that will always be there. We get criticized every day, but we do not stop. I could name a bunch of people who have tried and who have failed in their chosen callings, but because they have persisted, because they kept on persisting, they didn't care what the other person will say. I've grown so much to the point of whereby criticism, I don't fear criticism. A person may criticize me anytime he wants. I don't mind because I know whatever person says to you, he has to say it to himself. You don't just wake up and shout at somebody without you feeling the shouting yourself. You have to feel it. When you wake up and you greet the next person and you compliment the next person on how beautiful that person is, that compliment affects you too. Why? Because you feel it as you say that compliment. When you say a good word, you feel the good word in your subconscious and in your feelings. And when you say an angry word to somebody, you also feel that. So who is the fool here? You see, it also goes back to minding what you are saying. It also goes to attractive personality. So I have many points and many things that I want to mention here, but let's stick to the agenda and the criteria. So the fear of criticism, let go. Just never mind what the other person is saying. And sometimes you might learn by criticism. When some people are always being nice to you, sometimes you don't learn. But when somebody shouts and criticizes you, that's when you say, okay, you can learn and take a few spots where you are better at and try to improve on that. So the fear of criticism, do not be afraid of criticism. Go after what you want. Live where you want to live. If you want to go swimming, go and go swim. If you want to take a picture and post that picture. Do not be afraid of what people will say. You want to start a YouTube channel, go ahead and start a YouTube channel. You want to buy what you want to buy what you want to buy, eat what you want to eat, be how you want to be. If you want to lose weight, lose weight. If you want to gain weight, gain weight. Be yourself. These principles are life-giving because they teach us how to be ourselves and how to grow and be content. The fourth fear on my list is the fear of loss of liberty. We have read our history and throughout the ages of how, especially me, I live in South Africa, and when I read the history at school, my high school, I was doing history. When I read the history of how Nelson Mandela and the likes, they were prison and how apartheid affected our society. In our history, there's positive reviews and there's also negative reviews. It depends on how you are feeling on the particular day when you read history or when you think about history. But the fear of loss of liberty. Today we are here in South Africa and some parts of the world. People have freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of deed. They can buy what they want. They can go where they want to go. Because of this freedom of liberty, you can do what you want to do and you can be free. There's capital, you can start your own business, you can explore your idea. This is liberty. So do not be afraid of losing liberty. I think the fear of loss of liberty can be associated with the past and how maybe one may be anxious thinking that he will lose his freedom, he will go to jail, and those type of thoughts. Those are conflicting thoughts on the real. So the fear of liberty, just enjoy your freedom, be where you are, and make sure that you do good, because this fear of liberty might be also associated with the other law that I want to speak about today. If you live good and you do good, that thing is very good. That's why the greatest philosopher said, do unto your neighbor as you would like your neighbor to do unto you. Because he knows when you do good to your neighbor, you feel the goodness in you and you attract the goodness too. And you bring harmony also to the relationship. Because when you do good to your neighbor, you multiply everything. But when you do good, that's when lack of everything starts to come. So loss of liberty, when you do good And when you earn money the right way, peace of mind comes to you. But when you be greedy and earn money the wrong way, that's when lack of harmony and unpeace of mind and all this destructive emotion begin to come to you. The fifth fear is the fear of old age. Old age, old age, old age. The fear of old age. People are living their lives being afraid of how they will grow old. As we grow older and we meet past associates or past friends, we like to go over the past memories of what once happened. Remember this and that happened, this and that happened. We seem like not to get over the past events. We seem like maybe sometimes our best years were behind. I remember I used to go to high school, and during my high school years, I think for the 5 years that I attended high school, I made some great friends there. We were laughing all along. We were always laughing at the teachers, laughing at our friends, making jokes. And today, when I meet those particular friends, we tend to go back over the memories. And sometimes it feels like now maybe our life is ruined. We get into the habit of thoughts that maybe life is not so much better now because maybe I'm serious today, but 5 years to 6 years ago or 7 years ago, high school, I was always laughing. So, no, 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 it can't be. When you move up, life always becomes greater. People tend to also slow down and think that maybe they are not meant for success because now they are 30 years old and they don't have a single cent in their bank account. When you listen to this type of philosophy, you will learn to listen, not to put too much care upon money. You can be happy without money because you were born not having a single cent. And when you die, you return to the dust, not having a single cent with you. So the principles, these are the type of principle that makes you feel happy, that makes you expand. If you want to start a business right now and you don't have a single cent on your name, it doesn't mean that you will stop or start. It doesn't mean that you don't have to start your business. You don't need money to have an idea. You don't need money to write ideas down. You don't have money. You don't need money to generate ideas and to plan ways and means on how you will proceed with your business. So people see money as a stumbling block sometimes. We need not measure our happiness with money. Money is not supposed to make you happy. I remember Bob Proctor said money is not supposed to make you happy, but it's supposed to make you content. It's supposed to make you comfortable. Because when you're comfortable, you begin to generate new ideas. I think that's a good thought in itself. So the fear of old age, I also attract sometimes this type of thoughts of feeling that maybe as you grow older, I said to myself by 25, I want to be a millionaire, but I'm 25 years old. I'm not a millionaire. And I feel like maybe I've slowed down. I feel like maybe I made the wrong choices. No, 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 no. Just because I'm growing old doesn't mean that I've made the wrong choices. It means that I am getting more wiser. Because experience counts a lot in life. Experience counts a lot. Now I'm 27 years old, but as I look back and as I think back, I am not thinking the very same way that I'm thinking when I was 19 years old. So it's an added advantage whether I do have money, whether I don't. If I do have money, it's also an added advantage. But that doesn't mean I also need to forget these principles because I have money. No, the principles, they're universal. They work for everybody. So far we've highlighted the fear of death. We've highlighted the fear of poverty. We've highlighted the fear of criticism. We've highlighted the fear of loss of liberty. We have highlighted the fear of old age. We have highlighted, yes, that's where we ended, the fear of old age. Do not slow down because you are getting old. You are actually more healthier than you could imagine. Your body is so immense. Like, get rid of those thoughts, of those tiring thoughts, those slowing down thoughts, those negative thoughts. No, be on the positive plane. Just be like me. Be on the positive plane. The fear of old age. Do not be afraid of old age and do not slow down. If you can read the accounts. Listen, I'm in South Africa right now. Our president, as I'm speaking now, is Cyril Ramaphosa. How old is Cyril Ramaphosa? I can assure you he's not 40 years old. He's more than 40. He's probably more than 50. Who knows? You see? But was he going to be president when he was 30 years old or 27? I don't think so. So we find that if you can read a lot of people that made a lot of money, you see that they've reached their climax after the age of 40. So why would you want to feel down at the age of 27 or 22? Okay? That means that as you grow older, your ambition becomes more and you get to have the hunger of succeeding more, and you get to build better relationship, better acquaintances, and you become mature with experience also. So growing older is a blessing also. You are not slowing down, you're actually getting bigger. Yes, you might not be more physical and running like just like you were when you were 15, but the more matured years, your mind is functioning at a rapid rate than it was at earlier years. So the fear of old age, never mind. The sixth major fear is the fear of loss of love. You know, sometimes when the person you are with is not the right person, you have to let them go. When you're feeling uncomfortable with the wrong person, you have to let them go. Do not be afraid of losing love. I mean, love in itself is a positive emotion. It's a positive emotion. We need love. We need to love thy neighbor. Love your friends. You need love in everything you do. When you put love, when you mix the emotion of love in everything you do expands. So you need love. But do not be afraid. You know, I've seen and I've read stories and I've heard people throwing money at this thing called love, trying to charm the woman of their lives and throwing money and cars around them just so that they could receive the same love back. But in the end, they never receive that love. It's also the question of you feeling worthless, feeling that you won't be loved unless you have money. Money is not associated with love. Okay? You can have love without money, and you can have love also with money. The fear of loss of love. Do not be afraid of losing love, okay? Do not be afraid of losing your loved ones. Just know that there will be other people that you will get, maybe that will love you the way that you want to be loved. So do not be afraid of losing your love, okay? Just emit these powerful frequencies of being loved, emit it in the universe, and you will see love coming to you straight. It's all about attraction. Okay, those are the 6 basic fears of love. I hope you go over these fears and you really read into them, and you'll see your life will change like night and day. So I want to talk about the law of compensation again. This is my last principle here, the law of compensation. Oh, the law of compensation is great in itself. We live in a world of laws. That's why when you go to school, you study physics. And when you study physics, they'll tell you about laws in themselves. Laws are everywhere. If today you jumped on a high building, whether you're a good person or you're a bad person, whether you've got millions or you've got 0 cents in your account, if you jump off a high building, you're going to fall to the ground. Why? Because the law of gravity states that you are going to fall to the ground, good or bad, young or old, white or black. The law is the law. The law doesn't care about anything. So when we learn to study and live by the laws, we see that we can attract what we want. I attracted many things in life just by following these principles, by following this law. The law of compensation states that right now, if you are a farmer and you saw, let's say you saw the seeds of an orange, okay, by the law of compensation, that tree or that plant will grow into a tree, and then after it has finished growing into a tree, it won't give you that very same tree. After some time that it has grown, it won't give you one orange because you saw one orange a seed. No, 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 no. It will give you a whole lot of oranges, despite the fact that you only saw one orange seed. The result will be a whole lot of oranges if you take care of that tree. So one orange seed can give you a whole lot more oranges by the law of compensation. This means that also we can take it to mean that whatever that you want to do multiplies. It's also multiplying. Multiplication. It also says, listen, I once read a quote that says, every sweet has its sour. You know, uh, as I'm talking and making this video, I'm in Emelo right now. I might be in Emelo today and maybe have disharmony among my family members or among my girlfriends or family. And then I decide, you know what, this Emelo here it's boring because 1 minute is going good, 1 minute is going bad. And then I decide to go to Johannesburg. When I get to Johannesburg, at first it begins to be nice, but then again this harmony sets in, maybe not by me, maybe by an extra family member. And then I say, oh, you know what, it was much better in Emelo. And then I want to leave Johannesburg and go back to Emelo. What I'm trying to say is that it is good to create harmony in relationships. And also what I'm trying to say is that whenever you are feeling good, there's also some bad that's going to be there. I mean, you might be in a relationship today and enjoy that relationship, and then find that the person that you're with, maybe there are some things that you don't like. And then are you going to dump that person because you don't like certain things? Why? But it was good the first time you dated. Now you don't like certain things, you want to dump. Fine, you break up, you go on to the next person. And then you also find some things that you don't love also. Are you going to still break up with that person? You see, every sweet has its sour. The law of compensation. When you do bad things, you also attract bad things. When you do good things, you also attract good things. So it's about 50-50. The law of compensation. Mm, the law of compensation. I remember the story of Edison. Edison has built a light bulb. He's the greatest inventor despite having 3 years of schooling. This guy, Edison, it said that he failed more than 10,000 times in creating a light bulb. So I'm asking myself that during those 10,000 times that he was failing, was he doubting himself? Maybe, of course, he was doubting himself. But he would have looked at with his eyes and said, oh, whatever I'm trying to do, it doesn't work. Maybe let me give up. Maybe let me stop this. Because at the moment I am trying and it is not working. I'm trying to make a light bulb, but it is not working. Okay? But as you endure, as you persist, the law of compensation pays you back and says, you know what? You never gave up. Here's your price. Here's the secret to creating a light bulb. And then the result is what? Millions and millions and millions of dollars are paid to him and recognition all over the world. He's never forgotten because he persisted in what he was trying to do, which is Thomas Edison. The law of compensation always pays you when you persist in doing the right thing and when you don't give up. The law of compensation is that if today I get invited to an event and I miss the event, I missed a good thing. But also with me missing a good thing, I also gain something else. You understand? I missed a good thing, I also gained something else. If I would have went to the event that I was invited in, I would have gained something else, but I would have also lost something else. So this also puts us in the middle, that you gain some things, then you lose some things, and then you lose some things, and you gain something. So to get back to this law of compensation, you are always in the middle. Okay. Right now I am teaching and I am reading this law of compensation. Sometimes this principle is because I've put myself and I've indebted myself in this principle. It doesn't mean these principles, they give me money. But also in these principles not giving me money, probably they give me happiness. Probably they give me peace of mind. Probably they give me a great understanding. Probably they make me wise. Probably they make me see opportunity. They might not be giving me money, but they might make me see opportunity that will also give me money. That is the law of compensation. Thank you very much. Until we meet next time, while we make the next video. Thank you so much and have a nice day.